...924 cups of coffee, 20,000 calories burnt, 579 personal meeting rooms, 56 buys made easier, 380 choices made harder, 1,200 tight deadlines, 3 deep breaths. 31 big ideas, 20 stories of clean air, 88 new perspectives, 1,000 lives touched. And that's just one day, one building. From the smallest needs to the biggest desires, we work to get it right every single time. Because being a global leader means looking beyond what you can see to what can be. To imagine, create, cultivate a better future together. We partner with passion. We build stories of change. We open new doors and create spaces that people call their own. And that's why for 10 years, across 5 cities in 90 buildings, among infinite human moments, there's one name that stands out: Brookfield Properties.
In 1997, we started manufacturing locks. We weren't just making in India. We were envisioning a self-reliant India. When in 1920, we manufactured soap from vegetable oil, we weren't just making in India. We were showing the world a humane way to meet human needs. When in 1951, we built India's first ballot boxes, we weren't just making in India. We were partaking in India's journey towards becoming the world's largest democracy. When in 1955, we made Asia's first typewriters, we weren't just making in India. We were contributing to the nation's mission of propelling women into the workforce. When in 1958, we made refrigerators, we weren't just making in India. We were supporting the movement of freeing women from the kitchen. When in 1984, we introduced mosquito repellent mats, we weren't just making in India. We were contributing towards making India free from vector-borne diseases. When in 1991, we started making products that sustainably increased crop yields, we weren't just making in India. We were doing our bit to help farmers double their income. When in 2013, we made key components for India's first Mars mission, we weren't just making in India. We were participating in Free India's most glorious moment. For over 120 years, during the journey of our nation's independence, we haven't just been making in India. We have been passionately doing our bit towards making India.
Today, a touchdown of the way we live is more about how we live. Inside is where we build dreams and be inspired. Inside is a permanent place to reign and to rejuvenate. That's why we bring to you Briloka, a melting convergence of various verticals of innovation and taste. Customer satisfaction, product innovation and design thinking are the 3 pillars of brilliance on which Briloka is built on. The makers of the iconic brand Hindware, known for crafting exceptional bathing experiences and developing contemporary bathroom solutions. Briluca offers you bathroom solutions that are state-of-the-art and trendsetters. With a combination of unparalleled performance, smart technology and awe-inspiring designs, Hindware Italian collection meets the new age demands of hygiene. With the aesthetic confluences of European brilliance that mesmerizes each distinction, Huo stands out for you. A design flow articulated for a sense of exclusive. That's alchemy. Opening new horizons in the space of tiles. Our avant-garde, futuristic brand Neom. Designed for aesthetics, functionality and durability, Benelave is the segment leader. There's true flow plastic pipes and fittings to provide complete plumbing solutions. We at Briluca are constantly looking at the future and hence are committed to environment and sustainability. Briluca, new name, same values.
Good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to the first session of the day today, Indoor Air Quality, as part of Conference on Green Pro, Green Building Congress 2020. We welcome all the participants, the session chairs, and the speakers to this forum. We are glad to have two esteemed panel with us today. First, I would like to introduce our session moderators, Ms. Mala Singh. She's a leading green building and sustainability expert in India with more than 20 years of experience. She's an alumni of IIT Roorkee. She's certified green building professional such as IGBC Fellow, AP, Griha Lead, and many more. She has facilitated more than 5,000 million square feet green building footprint across various sectors in India. She is on board with various government committees and prestigious associations. She is the chairperson of IGBC Mumbai chapter, IGBC Green Residential Society Rating System, Chairman Sustainability Governing Council Focus, and Chairman Global Sustainability Council. She has been recognized with various national and international awards for her contribution. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. And next, we have with us Mr. Manoj Kar, who is the director of SJ Developers and Housing Private Limited. Mr. Manoj is the co-founder and chairman of CII IGBC Odisha. He is the state conveyor of Odisha Corporate Foundation, wherein he mentors entrepreneurs and creates OPPO for the global ODIA entrepreneurs as part of the non-partisan platform. He is a member of Inflexon Point Ventures, an angel network investor. He's a technocrat with more than a decade of business development and consulting experience across various MNCs such as IBM, Dimension Data, Wipro, etc. He turned entrepreneur and is into development of residential and commercial properties, vacation villas, adopting new and innovative green solutions. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. We would request the session chairs to take the session forward now. Thank you.
So good morning, everyone. Very, very good morning and warm welcome to all the people who are present and watching this show, all speakers who are there and sharing their thought process today with us. I would like to say that it was a wonderful experience from last 2 days during this International Green Congress of IGBC 2020. Wonderful experience we received, and Green Product Conference, the second day of it today we are celebrating from this platform. So I would like to thank everybody who's there today, my speakers and the audience. So friends, as we know that today's session is on very, very important subject, which is air quality, especially indoor air quality. And during present scenario of the COVID-19, we know that this subject is very, very important, and I would say the talk of the town. We have been experiencing air pollution problems since long. Delhi is the main example. In fact, in India, if we see the 6 large cities are already a part of 10 top most polluted cities in the world. So we are already experiencing air pollution problem. So air is a very, very hot topic now. But the problem is that we have never given focus to the indoor environmental quality. We talk about air pollution, our external environment air quality, but internal air quality is a very, very important aspect now because we know that this pandemic, which is a part of airborne disease. So we need to take care whether how we can improve the air quality, how we can monitor the air quality, and how we can also look into the fresh air requirements we really need in our day-to-day lives. Doesn't matter I'm sitting at home or I'm sitting in my office or I'm in my public space or any space where we are working or we are living, we have to look into now indoor environment quality. For that, we know that there are so many challenges, as we know that mostly commercial buildings and public spaces which have centralized HVAC system. And we know that people are just focused on refrigerant and air conditioning, but fresh air requirements are neglected, which is the utmost need of the hour. Our facility teams, operational teams, and even the decision makers, they need to look into this particular issue with very, very seriousness. Because the air quality really matters to us. The kind of air we are breathing, because each and every breath we are inhaling, that really matters to my health and well-being as an individual. And the quality of air, which is very, very important. So friends, we know that there are so many technologies are evolving right now, which really can help us to improve the air quality, which can help us to monitor the air quality. We can understand the kind of pollutants available in the premises. We can take some mitigation measures after monitoring that. And we also can improve the air quality by taking appropriate measures in the inside premises. There are nowadays, you can see there are paints which are not only eco-friendly, but also they are helping you to remove the bacterial infection. So technology has evolved at that level now. So we have technology interventions. We know that how to use that in the premises and can look into this indoor air quality issue seriously. So now question comes, how these technologies will help us? Does it costly? So what is the effect of cost? And it's capex and opex. So those are also the issues we need to understand. Because we know that when we increase the ventilation rate in the premises, it is always associated with the energy consumption. So we need to look into those issues as well, apart from the technology, whether we are investing in these kind of technologies, so how they are helping us in terms of long-term life cycle of those particular premises, and also taking care of health and well-being of the people. It is also taking care of the productivity. So how they are basically helping us to save us, to protect us from the COVID-19 diseases like that. So I would like to now introduce my today's first speaker, who is from itself is a paint company, Mr. Shalabh Kumar Jaiswal. He is the project head of North Budget Paints India Limited, British Paints Division, New Delhi. This is his brief profile. I would like to just present in front of you. Over 25 years of experience in sales and marketing, business development head reputed companies like Budget Paints, Jubilant Industries, Nerolac Paints, Pidilite Industries, and many more, including Godrej. So he is currently designated as Project Head North in Budget Paint India Limited and based in head office at New Delhi and handling project business North India. Retail business of Rajasthan for decorative paint since March 17. So I would like to request my first speaker today, Mr. Kumar Jaiswal from British Paints, to come here and share the slides and share his thought process, how your eco-friendly paints can help, not only in terms of eco-friendliness, but also the COVID-19 like issues. So kindly enlighten our audience with your technology, how it could help. So Mr. Jaiswal, you can start your presentation.
Okay. First of all, thank you, Mala, for giving me an opportunity to speak from paint perspective, because how the paint can contribute to the society to make a better to improve the air quality and to live in a better environment. So it is our responsibility to use a better quality of paint. So I would like to just present the low VOC paint, how it is important for all of us and how we can just contribute to the society and to the nation. So I'll just start. As far as the low VOC paint is concerned, how it has enhanced the indoor air quality. So this is the main topic to be discussed today. Before that, I would like to just share on behalf of the company. Our company actually is IGBC certified company. This is an ISO certified company. This is having a CIDC certification also, the Griha certification also. These are the certification we actually have. So before we can discuss the benefit of this low VOC paint regarding this green home builder, which is as per the IGBC objective is concerned, the builder, the green home builders, about using the low VOC paint in your home. It is important to explain exactly what is the VOC. Basically, VOC are a volatile organic compound, and VOC are unstable carbon containing compounds that can easily vaporize. So once they enter the air, they react with the other elements and lead to pollution. After getting the reaction, the breathing in this polluted air can lead to the headache, breathing problems, burnings or watery eyes, nausea, asthma, and even cancer also. So as if you see, the EPA have set some norms, which is Environmental Protection Agency. So while the EPA has set some limits on the levels of the VOC, and the acceptable level can still be very high in some paints, but while VOC levels are highest during painting, once the painter do the painting, during the painting process, he is the most affected person which need to be taken care of by using the low VOC paint. So as it dry, and sometimes after getting the paint, when it becomes dry, the high VOC content can continue to release toxins for several years. So it does not mean that after getting the paint overdone, we all need to be concerned to use a good quality of paints. There are some natural ingredients, like if we go in just 30 years, like in our childhood, if you go in the age of 80s and 19 years before 17, so we people were using the lime, we people were using the cement paint. That was a natural paint where no chemical was being used. So, but now the system and tradition has been changed, and the people, they are using the better quality of paint. They are going for this chemical-based paints. So, what I would like to say that these water-based natural paints, which is gives up almost no smell. There is no smell, and they are made from natural raw ingredients such as water, beeswax, plants, oil, and resins, plants, dyes, essential oils, and natural elements such as clay, chalk, and talcum. This was the old tradition. So there was no VOC. It was very helpful. But as the advancement has taken place, the things are changing now, and we need to start taking care of these precautions. And after that, if you see, for paint to classify as a zero VOC, although there is no zero VOC paint, because there is a set minimum parameters of 5 gram, 5 ppm. So less than 5 ppm is not possible once you make any paint. So because of there are some property which need to be taken care of, like brushability, like free flow, like sheen, which is currently the peoples are demanding. So zero VOC is not possible, but the low VOC can say, once if the parameter we are following the 5 ppm, yeah, then it can be considered as a zero category. Low VOC paints contains actually less than 200 grams of VOC per liter. But however, to comply with the green seal standard, most of the manufacturers strive to get less than 50 grams of VOC per liter. As advances in paint technology have improved over the years, there has been more development of environmentally friendly products with higher performance level and competitive pricing. And what is the psychology like? Psychology of all the consumers, normally they think once we are using the low VOC paint, would it be costly? It is not like that. The low and zero VOC paints have come down in the cost in a gradual over a period time. Now the manufacturer, they are, if you see, it is not very much costly. It is reasonable because there are different categories like economy segment, medium segment, and premium and ultra premium segments are there. So in all the emulsion segment, the company has started taking care of these VOC parameters. So it is not the people, they if they think that it would be costly. I don't think that this is not be a costly product. So as for the price and performance is concerned, compared to the traditional one, it is okay. Now, if we talk about the eco-friendly, like Mala ma'am already told that the air quality need to be taken care of, it, how we can contribute. So for a more eco-friendly option, we can use the low VOC paint, which is not only the benefit to the environment, but definitely for your health also. In building that especially need to maintain good air quality, like schools and hospital, definitely in the school, like the children's small kids are there, and the hospital, the patients are there. So definitely we need to take care in those particular areas. So it is crucial to use the most health and environmentally friendly paint, as indoors VOC has higher levels. And there are definitely various other benefits also of using this low VOC paint. Like once you're using the low VOC paint, it helps and reduce the allergy causing toxins. If you're using the low VOC paint, it helps to reduce the concentration of contaminants in the ozone layer as well as the ground water and landfills. It is easier to clean and soap and water than paints, other paints. Like for a common consumers, a lady is definitely, you will see she believes to maintain his house. So once if you're using the emulsion paints and low VOC paints, it is easy. You can use just help with the help of a small light detergent. You can just with the you can clean the all the wall very clearly. And as for the low VOC, other benefits are concerned that low, these paints are less toxic and cause less toxic emissions. And definitely the coverage and cleaning is also comes better. Coverage means it does not increase the coverage, but definitely the coverage you will get the reasonable coverage. Cleaner air. If you use the low VOC paint throughout your house, you won't have to worry about inhaling dangerous fumes during or after painting process. Because after painting, definitely you have to live in the home, but during the painting, the painter is the main person who is directly in touch with the painting, and during the painting process, the emanation takes place, and definitely for the painting point of view, for the applicator and painter point of view, it is important. Keep in mind that the paints that release higher levels of VOC can cause a variety of health issues, spanning from aggravating allergies to causing permanent respiratory issues. There was a St. Louis who started green home builder as a green home builder. This is something we work hard to eliminate in the homes we build. Means it is a social service. It is a kind of social service. So to make the green building is a social service. We can say we are concerned toward the social society, towards the nation. So no strong orders like this is also a matter ki after painting and during the painting, the orders is also one of the factor which need to be taken care of. It helps. Low VOC paints helps in that. Whether you are painting your luxury home yourself or having your green home builder, take care of it. And the order of paint can be quite obstacle. Paint does not always dry quickly, and the chemical scent of paint containing high levels of VOC can prevent you from getting back into your home. With low VOC paints, the painting process is safer and you will be able to get back into your home quicker because the air will not be polluted with the strong odors. It is cost effective, as I told. It is a common misconception that low VOC paint will be far more expensive than the hazards alternatives, but it is simply not true. And the low VOC paints are very similar in price and can be found at your neighborhood hardware stores. You can pay comparable price for the safer paint, which means more money to spend personal touches in your luxury homes. Easier cleanup, like low VOC paints are easier to clean up by using just soap and water. Scuff marks, dirt, smudge, and your kids' creative art projects will all be easier to clean up. It's durable and long-lasting. Earlier, it was believed that the harmful VOCs were an essential part of the paint, but this is not in the case. The low VOC paints often prove to be even more durable and last longer than their high VOC counterparts. So you will be enjoying a freshly painted looks for quite some time. If we talk about the paint segment wise, so these are the like 50 grams is the benchmark set by the agency. But if you go with the category wise, in water-based primer, like it is only 7 ppm, 7 grams per liter. In this number, it is 5 grams per liter, which we are actually claiming and we are managing. In economy interior emulsion, which is affordable, definitely it is 12.60, very much less than the 50 grams set parameter. In premier interior emulsions, definitely 16.0, it is also very less. But in ultra premium interior emulsion, it is 70. It is a little bit high, 20%, which can also be reduced. But I believe that the government has also played a vital role to make some regulations so that all the manufacturers can control it. And as far as the current trend is concerned, the painters, they do demand in solvent-based product, they do demand better sheen, better free flow. That is why we are supposed to add some chemicals, so which also can be reduced subject to if the government always take some regulations, amendments, so that all the manufacturers were bound to do use those emulsions. So these are the certifications we have got from the IGBC. And if we, as a common consumer, there are few questions may comes. They may ask few questions like what is the safe level of VOC paint? Already told that below 50 ppm is a safe benchmark. and which means below 50 grams per liter. Next, a question comes like the why volatile organic compounds are required in paint. So I told you that in paints, solvent dissolves to or disappear the components used in the paint formulation to make paint with desired consistency for application and to avoid the brush dragging to give good flow and leveling. These are the things because of which the VOC is to be used. And one more important thing, the common man or the common consumer may ask, what is the zero VOC paint? I have already discussed there is no zero VOC paint. If it is 5 ppm or 5 gram per liter, it can be considered as a zero VOC paint like disturbance cement paint. And
Mr. Jaswal, can you conclude in 2 minutes because
sure,
yeah.
In overall, it would be a low VOC if we are using the below 50 grams per liter. It is a low VOC. In all the companies, they are now started using these parameters. So in the last only, I would say the paint is not the only one thing which contributes that towards the green building. There are a few other parameters which need to be taken care of to make the green building, like you can reduce air pollutions during the construction, utilization of fly ash, waste water treatment. This is also one of the factor. The water reduction, water recycling, water reuse. It also need to be concerned. Reduction is waste during the construction, and efficient waste segregation, store and disposable waste. These are the factors which need to be taken care of while giving the green building. Oh, that's all I would like to say. As all the consumers need to be conscious to make their contribution by using the low VOC paint to make the green building and make the air quality better.
Thank you, Mr. Jaiswal. Thank you so much for a nice presentation. I would like to request Mr. Manoj Kar to introduce our next speaker, please.
Hi, morning, and thank you, Mr. Jaiswal. It was really good to know that VOC really helps in IOQ. But now pre-COVID times and post-COVID times have seen a great lot of difference. I was surprised to know that India air quality is 5 times more polluted than external. So if a delight is today talking about, Delhi air quality IOQ is bad, and just think about it, 5 times more is indoor air quality is bad. So what do you do now that the doctors and medical has also come up? They are talking about to save from COVID, don't use ACs. Which is practically possible because the ACs were never ever planned with the filters or cleaners to take off any micron below 1 nm. And I'm sure many of those guys also didn't give the premium ACs. We didn't even mind to get an energy efficient AC. So what do we do now? Is it retrofitting or it is a recirculation of AHU? I don't know. So let's hear it from one of the best possible person who is a part of a company which is probably one of the largest air filter supplier in the world, and they're into air cleaning and air filters. So whether it is HEPA or a MOV 13 or what kind of filters we should look for, probably at least on the metros and mini metros in India. Welcome, Mr. Jayant Kaushal. Mr. Kaushal has got more than 25 years, 2 decades of sales and business development marketing. He has been with several companies and now with Camfil Asia Pacific operating out of Singapore. He is also a part of the Singapore Green Building Council for the green mark production. So I think Mr. Kaushal, take us through the journey and what we should look for when we talk about all those kind of filters. What is a back filter, pocket filter, HERF 13, less than 1 micron. And most important, you have to be safe from COVID if you don't use ACs. That's a warning bell. I don't know how many people can actually do that. So what all we can do to come out of this? Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Kaushal.
Thank you, Mr. Manoj, and thank you, CIA, for giving this opportunity. I'm happy to be here and present this. So I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can. Go ahead, make it.
Okay, so I will try to answer some of the questions. I'm not sure all of them can be answered in a short span of time. So I will cover a few things on this agenda, which is about the company and why we are talking about smaller particles, which is PM1, which in the industry and in the region, people talk more about PM 2.5. So what is this PM1 as a new animal and why it is so important and to filter? And then it's little bit on the principles of air filtration, how it works, and what is that we have to look for. And then we talk about standard, how to save energy. You're right, Ms. Mala, that filtration is good, but provided we have to save the energy as well. And without that, you don't meet the purpose, which is filtering the air at a high cost. And last but not the least, I will cover a smoke or haze kind of filtration, which is also a possibility. So quickly on this vision of the company, which is Camphil, it's a global company, multinational, and we have a clean air as a human right. And in terms of mission, which is very simple, protect people, environment, processes, and the environment. So basically, wherever we have air which is pollutant, it can be filtered, whether it is particle or it is gas. And that is why we have the 55 years plus experience. We are not many employees, 4,500 globally, 30 manufacturing sites, 6 R&D centers. Let me see if I, yeah. And we are coming from headquarters in Sweden and Stockholm. In terms of business area, we have 4 business areas. So in terms of filtration, we have filters for all kind of air handling units, whether it is public building, we call it comfort, clean room application, industrial application, or even the containment. Containment means for places where you have to contain the gases to go out and you need to filter them. So these kind of filtration are available, various options. And then you have something known as air pollution control, which is basically to take out the dust, fumes, and mist from an industrial application. So wherever you are doing something which is very much of high degree of pollution you are creating while manufacturing, this is something which can collect the dust, take it out from the area where people are working and separately accumulate it, and then it can be disposed of easily. And the number 3 is power system, which is basically we make filtration for gas turbine unit, so that gas turbine unit can supply you energy at lower cost of ownership and without any much breaks or disturbance in terms of frequent changes of filters or shutdown. Last but not the least, I think this is touched upon by Mr. Jaiswal, is about molecular containment. So we do have filtration which can take care of the gases, odors, corrosion controls. Gases mean NO2, SO2, VOC, formaldehyde, and including ozone. So this covers the entire gamut of business, what we do globally. Moving on to the why PM1 we're talking about and not PM 2.5. So let's understand this. The air we breathe is about 1 kg of food we eat. In reference to that, 2 kg of liquid we drink, 15 kgs of air we breathe. So which is much more. And 15 kg is a normal person who is normally walking. If you're running, or workers who are working something very heavy, they obviously consume more. We spend about more than 90% of our time indoor, which means obviously sitting in an office or home and breathing in air, which is possibly more polluted. And we all think that outdoor air is more polluted. And as per the number of studies published by WHO, it is said that inside air can be much more polluted. And we are saying up to 50 times more polluted inside. So that's why it is important to clean the indoor air. Moving on with a few snippets on what is happening. So the study which is done by University of Singapore, where they say the employee's productivity takes a hit when air pollution is on a higher level. In China, there's a link between happiness and air quality has been established, which means if you have a pollution which is a high level, people think they're not very happy. It's a similar study which is done in UK, which says when NO2 is high, hydrogen dioxide, people feel that something is very disturbing. For example, my partner is dying. That's the kind of sentiments one get. Air pollution linked to huge reduction in intelligence. So air pollution is not only affecting, which we all think is our respiratory system, it is going beyond that. It's taking the hit on intelligence, breathing issues, baldness linked to particulate pollution levels as per the Sky News. So it is taken to the various levels. And 1 in out of 8 person we see they all having a respiratory problem. Last but not the least, it's a COVID, it's a Harvard study which is established recently a national study on long-term exposure to air pollution can have a higher mortality rate under COVID. And what they're saying is increase by 1 microgram per cubic meter can have about 8% more death rate. This is established from the studies, which means overall, whether COVID or not COVID, pollution is affecting our life somewhere. And if I give you a quick definition of what is we call about PM, which is particle matter. So we all know PM10, but PM10 means particle matter 10, and 10 means 10 micron is a diameter of the particle, and we express in the mass, which is microgram per cubic meter. And PM2.5 is similar, that a diameter is 2.5 microgram. Sorry, diameter is 2.5 micron. And similarly, PM1 is the diameter of the particle is about 1 micron. This is basically a subset of PM2.5 particles. So where this is coming from? They're coming from various studies. This is one study which is done in UK, where 2016 it is established that the fine metal particles in the brain was found on the onset of Alzheimer's disease patient. And what scientists were surprised to see how a metal compressed particle can be found in the brain of a human body and how it has been it is reached there. And they all come to a conclusion, possibly that it is coming from a diesel engine exhaust or emission, where the particles are much, much finer and they are compressed metal particles, which can actually go into the level where nobody expected to be. So now this is few findings from a health study in China, which is basically establishing a fact that PM1, which is smaller particles, is more dangerous than bigger particles. And this is one study which says that PM1 air pollution and establish a cardiovascular disease prevalence. PM1 air pollution also creates blood pressure, hypertension, and scientists are saying possibly it is coming from smaller particles, not the bigger particles. Last but not the least, they have noticed that when the air pollution goes up and PM1 for sure goes up in terms of number, the effect, and they are seeing the number of patients and people visiting the clinics. So that's how the scientist community came and said, we have an issue with the smaller particles, not necessarily a bigger particle. And I'm not saying we ignore the bigger particle. What I'm saying is we have to take care of the smaller particles first, then the bigger particles. So this is a picture on the left-hand side says when the particle size is PM10 micron, we have a natural defense system which take care of it, which is upper respiratory tract where we cough and sneeze and it comes out easily. When the particle becomes smaller, it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And for example, this fourth picture is in less than 1.1 micron particles can go to the entire bloodstream. And below that, it can go to the entire body. So considering all this fact, let's understand when we have to filter these kind of particles, what kind of filtration we need. So we need to understand the air filtration principle. And quickly, I will tell you that if it is one number, which is 1% of number, and which has a 1 microparticle, it is equal to 1 million particles of 0.6 micron and 1 billion nanoparticles of 0.06 micron. So which means if you take a reference of human hair, which is about 60 or 70 microns, extreme left-hand side can be a diameter of a human hair. And you see that hair diameter can become so many particles, which is smaller size, which is affecting our health. Moving on, this is a quick reference in terms of PM1 and PM1. Now, if we have to filter these, we need to have a material, we call it media, which can filter this air. So there are typically 3 types of media: glass fiber, synthetic, electrostatic. On the right-hand side, you see the magnified picture about 500 times to see much deeper how the fibers are actually constructed. And you will notice that glass fiber has got many fibers which can have the ability to stop smaller particles or filter the smaller particles, considering the one which is much lower, which is known as electrostatic charge. And I'll come to that. Let's take an example. If you combine the principles of filtration theory, then you will see impaction, straining, and sedimentation is one effect which takes place on the filter material. So the graph will go like this, that the extreme right-hand side, the blue one, take care of the bigger particles, black one can take care of smaller particles, the red one can take care of much smaller particles. What happens between 0.1 and 0.2? Between 1 and 0.2 micron has a tendency to bypass all the filtration as a general filtration phenomenon. What we need here is HEPA filter kind of thing. So I will not get into detail, but just to tell you, this is how filtration works. And the green line shows the total efficiency of any filter. Okay, we talk about this purple color line, which is known as electrostatically charged filter. So they are filter which can be charged, which has a very high efficiency, but after a month or two, efficiency drops. To prove my point, I'll go to this slide, where on the left-hand side, there's a graph which says a filter which is, so identical air handling unit, we put the same filter on the left-hand side, right-hand side. In one filter, in one ASU, we put the filter which is glass fiber. On the right-hand side, we put the synthetic, and you see what happens after 2 or 3 months, the efficiency on the right-hand side filter drops to a much more level. It drops to about 2 levels of efficiency if you consider that. That's the important point. Then the question is, how do we know which filter we are buying? Because it's so confusing in the market. And that is why the community has come up with a new standard. When I say new, it is 2016, which is launched in that time, which is standard to establish the filtration for a common versus understanding. So now if somebody has to know what filter we are using in the building, he will not understand the language because it's hidden with the jargon of MERV and F and all those things. Now this is very clear. It defines a filter into basically four ways. So either this is PM1 filter, PM2.5 filter, PM10 filter, or it is a coarse filter. That's how the standard has come in effect, which is already being used in many countries, and some countries have to adopt a national standard. It is available in Europe. All the European standards have changed to ISO. So this is just to have a common understanding globally. On the right-hand side, as I said, in Middle East and Asia, we use both. This is to harmonize and have one level of understanding of filtration so that people know what we're using. So what is the best part of this? The best part about this is it has 5 benefits of having one standard globally. It is new standard, which is one common standard, eliminate confusion, encourage global trade, and it has a minimum efficiency defined. So filter has to have 50% at least efficiency after discharging the filter to claim the efficiency, which means a filter, when it performs, it will take care of 50% at least efficiency or 50% filtering the particle, whether it is PM10, PM2.5 or PM1. That's the benefit of it. This is how the test rig looks like. We will not go in detail because we don't have time. This is the slide which tells you that status. In 2019, you see the standard has already reached an EN 779, which is European standard, is already become obsolete. And this is one example I'll take you through. This is the filter typically, which is made of glass fiber media. The first picture I showed you before on material. If you test it on various efficiency, this is the efficiency you will notice. Efficiency on PM1 is 64%, followed by 74% for PM2.5. And when you discharge the filter, which means you take out the charge from the material, like normally all the plastic or synthetic filters have charge, then it becomes a discharge efficiency. And I also say you take the average of both and you claim that efficiency as efficiency. Now that's very important for people to understand. Otherwise, we don't know as a customer, as a layman, and then what happens? We just leave it, give it to somebody and leave it. What can we do on this one? If you understand that, possibly it helps people to ask for it and say, why don't we use this kind of filter? So we classify as PM1, 60% efficiency. Taking a similar example on an electrostatic charge filter medium, which is basically a material which is made of synthetic.
We need to wrap up in another 2-3 minutes, so that'll be fine.
Sorry, I can't hear you. Say again.
I said, can we wrap it up in next 2-3 minutes for the paucity of time? And I appreciate that.
Sure, I understand. So give me 2 minutes, please. I'll cover this. And same example goes when you discharge the efficiency, it cannot be claimed as 50% EPM1. So this is how the sample of a test report looks like. This is how you claim 60% efficiency. And then what is important is energy efficiency. I won't spend time on that, but there is a standard which is known as Eurovent, and that basically measures the efficiency of, energy consumption of the filter. A filter is good when it takes care of indirect quality, but also takes care of energy consumption. So we don't have time in detail, but this is a standard which is available. Anybody can go on Google, type Eurovent, and you will get to see rating of various filter on energy consumption during the lifetime of the filter. This is how the label looks like. You can see, and this is how we consider total cost of ownership, which means filter cost is one thing. There are other things which is adding the cost of this, your air handling unit or in your premises. So taking care of that, we say there's a software for that, and we can build the software to explain how the filter can, life of the filter and efficiency of filter. This is a case study. I want to spend just a few seconds on this. This is the BBC case study, which was done a few years ago. If you see the green line in the middle section, it says the study was conducted in 2 identical AHUs, and this has been monitored on a monthly basis. And what we have found below is, based on the multiple AHUs, the cost saving is huge in terms of filters, 233,000 pounds, energy saving, even CO2 saving based on that is achieved. We can leave a copy. You guys can go through that later on. This is about smog or haze, BOC or NO2 filtration. There's a possibility to have filter for both particle and the VOC and ozone. List is available here. If you have time, you can go through that. This is a quick case study on the Polaroid, where they managed to reduce sick leave by 35% by upgrading the system, and they saved $1.4 million. This is another one. The study is on call center, showed a 10% increase in operators' productivity. This is, somebody said that what do we do in places where we don't have AHU system? This is something like industrial air cleaners, which can take care of particle in the room. This can also bring in fresh air from outside and filter it so that you don't have CO2 issue inside the room. This is a sensor which can actually measure the indoor air quality. I don't want to go through this. Just to summarize on the slide, we all understand the world is living in a very unhealthy environment. ISO is a standard. Selecting the PM1 filter take care of the health. Eurovent basically certifies on energy efficiency. Right filter one can achieve energy saving, improve indoor air quality, reduce CO2 emission, reduce duct cleaning and maintenance, and green building to me is environmentally responsible, a healthy place where we can work, and it should be profitable. So without this, it is not that green building is green building only saving energy, but also taking care of the particles. Thank you very much for this slide.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Kaushal, for a wonderful presentation. I think it is very clear from your presentation that how the filtration system really helps us in the green building as well, because this is an integral part of the strategies in the green building. That's what we can improve the indoor environmental quality in the green building. That's the beauty of green building. And because time is the constraint, and we will take the question answer in the after one speaker comes now. So our next speaker is Mr. Himanshu Agarwal. I would request him to share his slides, please. So Mr. Himanshu Agarwal is there? Yeah, I can see him. So Mr. Himanshu is the CEO and founder of Magneto Clean Tech. Basically, they are into more Indian air quality improvement startup strategy. So I would request Mr. Himanshu Agarwal to share his presentation on the slide.
Yeah,
Mr. Himanshu, you can just start your presentation.
Yeah, so good morning, everyone. Is my screen visible now?
Yes, it is visible. You can go ahead.
Okay. So thank you, everyone, for putting up things together and making my task much more easier. My intent here would be to make people aware of the entire intent of the indoor air quality. And of course, with as Mr. Manoj rightly said, and the Mala said in the start, that in the COVID era, when the air conditioning is becoming itself a question area of source of contamination, what is it that we're going to look at as a country and as individuals here? So my intent here is to tighten up your air defense by improving your indoor air quality. Of course, we all know that beyond just Delhi, the air pollution is spreading across the country. We already spent time on it. I would not like to run much. Of course, we are asthma capital and all kind of things, but I would like to add a few things here. If we fundamentally look at this slide here, you'll see that India already had a pandemic, except that it never came to the limelight. Even if you look at today, the TB, 93% is airborne, 1,200 people are dying. Indian environment is very different from any other climatic conditions. Why? We are hot and humid country, overly populated, cross-infection opportunities from one to another is pretty high. And if we look at the overall dynamics of the air quality, it's not just the VOCs, it's not just the particles, it's also the microbials. So when we look at it cohesively, we have to look at the strategies and possibilities to contain and create a safer spaces on all aspects. So what is indoor air quality? We already know it. The air which is within, surrounded by outdoor, now being mixed up inside, 90% of time indoor, we already know that. And of course, food, water, air, it has already been talked about. There are a couple of myths, in fact, I would like to break. Indoor air is more cleaner than outdoor. It's a myth. The indoor is 15 to 20 times more polluted. Why? Because you are recirculating the air. I would like to highlight a phenomena which emerges in every developing society, and this is the way ignorantly you realize it. If you look at India in the last 4 years, perfumes and aromas have started to come into our lives. Why? Because your nose is able to recognize there is something called malodor. That means something is not right with the buildings and spaces. But as a society, what is it that we are going to do? We're going to mask it. So when you go to the buildings today, hospitals, hotels, spaces, everybody will come up and start doing that. Even on your own cars, even on your own body, you're doing it. But once you become more aware of it, you'll overcome it. Another question that the people always ask is, by installing air purification in my immunity is going to go down, just like water or food? Maybe. But let me tell you, and I leave that question to everyone here. Is smoking 5 cigarettes a day is better or smoking 50? I think that would answer. Now we have to understand when we talk about indoor air quality, it has to be seen cohesively on all three aspects. Air is a very complex subject. It's not just particles, it's not just microbials, it's not just gases. Mixture of all these three, which are highly volatile in nature, that makes up our air. Let's understand a little bit more about each one of them. As particles, of course, the dust, PM1, PM2.5, PM10. As my colleague here, Jen, just said it. Of course, the dander and pollen, which are also released from body and from the plants and species. Microbials, this is something which is coming back to us. Bacteria, virus, mold, fungi, and all these kind of species. Viruses are coming back. And remember one thing, viruses are made up of genetic material called protein. And remember, bacteria are single-cell organisms. They can mutate on their own, while the viruses need a host body. Remember this, because as we'll go along, we'll try and understand how we can decontaminate viruses so easily. So gases, of course, the VOCs and odors and many other kind of contaminants mixed around make up of the gases. So I think this is a very important chart for all engineers to understand. Everything can be quantified and can be seen. If you see my chart here, on the bottom of the chart, you'll see, on the top of the chart, you'll see the sizes in terms of micron. On the blue line, you'll see how you can see them. So fundamentally, when you see up to 1 micron size, you can see that by naked air. Up to 0.1 micron, you can see through the microscope, and then lower than them on the electron microscope. Now, if you look at on the left-hand side, the particles, which are taken care by, as my colleague rightly said, 0.3 micron, which is the highest. Now, if you look at typically of the microbes, bacteria are up to 93% are the sizes which are up to 0.3 micron and 7% are lower. But remember, friends, viruses are all smaller. They start from 0.1 micron and they go lower. And when you look at the gases and odor, they are much smaller in terms of size of 0.3 micron. So if you look at a problem solving of all these three things, there is no one single technology or a single product or a single bullet that can solve all. So we're going to look at exactly how these problem solvings can be done. Now, let us understand what are the safety standards. Let us not be very, very scary about PM 2.5 in isolation. So I have picked up some of the different organizations talking about different levels here in terms of the entire IAQ perspective. And remember, when you are looking at IAQ, you got to correspond it with the humidity and temperature because they play a very important role. So if the humidity is higher, you're likely to have more amount of microbial counts in the indoor. If you're going to have higher CO2, you're going to have a higher VOCs as well. One of the very important points that I would like to highlight here. In isolation, if you see one value, it has no meaning. It is value, exposure, that is what your dosage is. So if you smoke 1 cigarette a day and you are smoking 365 a year, that's what your intake is. So PM 2.5 average value of 24-hour mean average value of 35 as per US EPA is considered to be safe. The rest of the things I'm sure you people would have looked at it. I'm trying to rush it through very quickly so that we are able to finish in time. and I could pass on the maximum amount of information. Now, there is a paradigm shift in the IAQ perspective. Earlier, the IAQ was all about health. It was not about safety. But now today, looking at it, I think the safety has become the prime area. Okay, I just lost it. Prior to COVID, it was comfort and health. After COVID, it is safety and health. PM 2.5 was the main concern. Of course, the PM1 rising in, yet there are no standards, safety standards. But yes, it's a very important aspect which will be coming into our doorstep very soon. Now, bioaerosols is becoming a concerned area. Now, when we look at the entire green building movement, it was all about sustainability, planet, energy, environment. It's given. We have to do it. There is no passing by. Now it is shifting from planet to people. It is all about wellness and safety. And earlier it was all about standard filtration for comfort application. But now it is coming up with high efficiency air filtration with all kind of systems integrated with it to bring about more amount of safety for you. So I would like to run through with a lot of technologies available here so that I can pass on maximum amount of knowledge here. So in filtration, as my colleague here, Jayant, already said that they are MERV, they are ISO, they are EN standards. But remember, usually the media type of filters have high pressure drop, high recurring cost, and in context to India, they may become a secondary source of infection because now you have all kind of contaminants sitting right there and they can become a likely contaminant source. Not 100%, but they can. UV light, which was earlier used for healthcare sanitization, now is coming into our doorway every day and they are becoming marginally effective on moving air and have limited coverage area. In our lives, we have now portable air purifiers coming in with the limited application and can be, again, a secondary source of infection if they just have standard media filter. Recently, more upcoming technologies are photocatalytic oxidation, whereby you break the bond of the VOCs through a catalyst, but there are certain safety concerns. When you look at, so these were basically the passive states. That means the air come in contact, gets clean and come in contact with the air pollutant. Then there have been a series of active air purification technology, which includes cold plasma, which is said to be a new age air purification and which is a fourth state of matter. It is very effective on reducing mild malodor and some amount of gaseous states. There have been PHIO+, which has been a composition of cold plasma and PCO, and they are again effective on malodor reduction and infection control. Then there have been ion released in the environment to treat the air and to improve the efficiency of the filters, but they have on their own, they have a limited efficacy on the PM 2.5 control. So what I'm trying to tell you here is there are technologies available right out there, but as I said, there is no single bullet which can take them all. So that's where we see the right way approach is a holistic solution, which is hybrid. That means you need to fuse active with passive technologies to give you a complete control of what you want. That's where we are born. So I'm a CEO of a startup company, Magneto Cleantech. I've been in HVAC industry for over 40 years, served as a technical committee member with the IGBC code, and I have seen what the India-centric problems are. So one, in India, we are focused on large-scale air pollution problem solving. Second, we invented Magneto Central Air Cleaner, which is a filterless magnetic air purification process, which attaches to all kind of air conditioning systems, all kind of heating systems, all kind of ventilation systems. And the best of it, what do the user want at the end of the day is not technology, performance. Performance on the real-time basis is only possible when you are able to provide certified clean air in the real-time display backed by data analytics. Because one of the very important aspects of the air is why your air is 15 to 20 times more polluted than outdoor. Because there is something called self-created air pollution. Ignorantly, we are doing all kind of activities indoor without realizing that we are adding on more pollutants in the indoor space. And that's why to know these sources, it's equally important because it's not just about technology. On one side, you may have a great product, great technology installed. On the other side, you may have a indoor source of a constant generation of a pollutant. How that's going to work? You'll never be able to achieve the safety. So these kind of devices actually help you to see your environment on the real-time basis, and that's what it is. Now,
thank you. Thank you, Mr. Himanshu. Can we conclude because time is the constraint with us?
Sure. So I'll just run it through quickly. So we invented coronavirus ready, India's first trap and kill technology called magnetic air cleaner. This is how it looks like. It attaches to all kind of air con machine. This is coronavirus advisory. This is a very important aspect. When you look at microbes, fungals are the most difficult to break. Viruses are most easiest to grip. And we have done a lot of tests. And recently we have done a even test on the coronavirus. We are the world's first company who has that. This is the way you can see air quality monitoring on the real-time basis, ensuring health and safety. We have some of the highest certification from the globe, right from Green Pro to GIHA to ISO 16890 to UL to all kind of, and we have some of the best names in the entire sector, and media is all about it. So what we are saying, protecting people and protecting assets. Clean air is a clean value add to the entire building construction industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I would request Mr. Manoj now to open the floor for the question and answer round. Okay. Mr. Manoj, are you there?
Yeah,
please go ahead.
Thank you, Himanshu. Excellent question. We will come to you shortly in question and answer session. I personally have my own question. But now the first question to Mr. Salav. So there are antibacterials also in paints. So would like to understand how does antibacterial paints work really, and what are the parameters we should be considering in after post-COVID scenario? Is there any change in the like in filters we have got now? MUF 13 is the new benchmark. So similarly, is there anything on paints we should look at post-COVID? Mr. Salaf.
Is Mr. Shalaf there? I can't see him. Mr. Jaiswal?
I think I can see.
Yeah. So I think then we can pass on to the next question to my other two speakers, because they both of them spoke about indoor environmental quality. So the question was, he's there already. So Mr. Jaiswal, can you just answer?
Yeah.
Could you hear
what is the question, ma'am?
Yeah,
no,
question was that on now that antibacterial paints, do they really work, and what are the parameters we need to check up on a post-COVID scenario before selecting the paint?
Yeah, this is a good question. Actually, post-COVID, people, they have concern to avoid the interior paint. So if you go to the sales trend, definitely it has impacted a lot. But as far as the bacterial, definitely we should go for the low VOC paint. All the companies, organized sector, they are providing the better quality of emulsions paint, which is as per below, keeping their below low VOC, which is set norms of 50 ppm, yeah, 50 grams per liter. So all organized sectors are providing low VOC paint, which we can use. And as far as the bacterial point of view is concerned, there is no specific product has been made which we can quote that this is a low bacterial paint. So specifically, yeah. We don't have any specific low bacterial paint which we can say this is the low bacterial paint.
I think I would like to just add on, there are now companies who are coming up with the solutions for antibacterial paints. I think people can, look into that. It's already there in the market, and, already the market is full of this kind of paints now. My next question, I would prefer now from the other two speakers. Mr. Kaushal, Mr. Jain Kaushal is there. Mr. Kaushal, the question is from the audience to you is, how is the indoor air quality related to productivity of occupants? So how would you address, to the audience? Please.
Okay, so you have to go through the study, because there was a study done in Europe some time ago where they actually measured the performance of the students in the classroom And there is a similar studies are being published from the US. I know there is one research is going on in Singapore as well. It takes a longer time to establish, but please go through that. It's available on Google. If you type, you will get it and you will see that. If you have any question, let me know. I'll share the link with you.
I can add here, I was a part of, not a directly, but I have seen a PwC part where we have done it for our IT industry. Every dollar spent on IAQ contribute to $30 to $35 of increase in productivity. It was a direct correlation that the price of
Yes.
That's great.
I totally agree with both of you. This is the case. And I think my next question, because time is running, to Mr. Himanshu. What is the maximum filtration efficiency we can get from the mechanical filters? And also, which filters are better one? Like if you choose the MERV and HEPA, so which one is the better? So some audience is asking.
So first of all, every application has its own usage. If you are looking at single pass efficiency and critical applications, you need to go with the mechanical class of filtration. It can be semi-HEPA class, which is more 15, 16, or H class, which is again the HEPA class of the filtration. But when it comes to a normal comfort applications, where you are talking about PM 2.5 or PM1 control, low power consumption, you can look at the electronic class of air filtration. So as you are asking a very generic question, it has to be very specific to the application. But yes, there can be fusion of both technologies as well.
Himanshu,
yes, I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have a question for Himanshu. When you talk about a single point all-rounder for all kind of cleaning, do you use it like what? It's a negative pressure suction method and then recirculation, or like would like if you can share us, because now experts like Jayant are there, so would also like to evaluate how can one be for every all medicine for all elements.
Great. So I think first we need to understand that in a system engineering design, what is it that we need to do? First, that we need to focus on is ASHRAE standard 62.1, which talks about the ventilation rate procedure. That means you need a certain amount of fresh air to come in to dilute the CO2 from the building. CO2 is the only contaminant which you need to flush it out of the building. Now, considering the Corona advisory, the 3 air changes or 30% of the fresh air, that's what the green building talks about, is now coming into the force, because through that you are able to reduce your viral intensity load into the given environment. But remember, in most of the cases, this is compromised. I'm saying even if you have a best design building, the 90% of the air is still constitute to be the recirculating. Remember one thing, don't overlook Indian environment condition. Everything that you have to do in terms of system engineering, it has to be India-centric. Focus first on 90% because that's recirculating. That's why I say focus on your air handlers, on your recirculatory systems, and of course, you need to do the task of the ventilation following the 62.1.
Agree. Yes.
Mala, you take a conclusion. I think we have answered.
Yes, because we are already running. So I think first of all, I would like to thank you all my speakers for their great, insights they have shared with all the audience today. My first speaker was Mr. Jaiswal, who spoke about low VOC, and very well said, Mr. Jaiswal, because it is a need of the hour, and people really, especially the common man, they require, the low VOC paint as well as the paints which are more, they can help us for the antibacterial background also, so that people can be benefited in the COVID-19 times. So I think that is a takeaway from this particular session. And also my two speakers, because they were from, especially from the IQ background, where they spoke about filtration system. They also spoke about the various technologies, how they can help and address the indoor environmental quality, the fresh air circulation, the fresh air requirements, and how the integration of air handling units by proper filtration media, as well as UV technology in an integration manner, how they could help to improve the circulation, to improve the proper ventilation in different spaces, and also they can also help in terms of health, productivity, and health and well-being of the people. So with this, I think I would like to come to the conclusion that IQ is the most important aspect in our day-to-day life, and we need to address this issue not only to the like-minded people, us, but also we need to take it to the common man to reach their reach as well, because common man should also understand what is VOC, what is volatile organic compound, and how it addresses it, really connects with their health and well-being. So they also need to know. Similarly, they also need to know the quality of air they are breathing inside their premises, how important is, to improve the air quality, how important it is for the passive approach in the ventilation or technology intervention, how it could help, in their day-to-day lives. So I think this is the time where we need to understand now in the offices we are sitting, in the centralized AC buildings we are sitting, how we need to look into the air quality, its circulation, its ventilation, and its monitoring as well, which we could not focus too much because of the time. But monitoring is, yes, right, Mr. Himanshu, because that is also very, very important that, we address in the green building, because as a part of the IBMS, we give a lot of focus to the integrated building management system, where we look into the indoor air quality is also beautifully addressed in the green building and ASHRAE norms. So we look into those aspects also. With this, I would like to thank all my speakers on the behalf of IGBC and all my audience who is here listening us. So please just take these takeaways, in your life, and kindly take it forward, and please spread the message among the common man. That is the takeaway regarding indoor environmental quality, so that we can protect ourselves from the COVID-19 and other issues of climate change and global warming as well. Thank you so much. So I would like to tell Mr. Utsav to take over now, and we would like to end this session here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
A great session, and thank you for moderating, Ms. Mala Singh and Mr. Manoj here. And we thank all our speakers, Mr. Jaishwal, Mr. Jayan Kaushal, and Himanshu Agarwal, for sharing their insights on a very relevant topic during this COVID time. We would request all of you to join for the next session, which starts at 11:15. But before that, in the meantime, you could visit the exhibition, where exhibition on green products, materials, and technologies, which is being showcased in the online forum. So on this Hive platform, we would request you to visit it before the next session starts. We would also like to thank all our supporters who have made this Congress possible, and the supporting organizations. Thank you very much.